When did you hear that you were going to be coaching tonight, and what was it? I mean, you've done it before, but was it different this time on the short notice?
Yeah, I was putting the minute sheet together, about to walk out for the national anthem, and Steve called me from his house and said, "Mike, you got to get out there for the anthem and coach." So right before tip-off. No. No, Steve called me on his way in about 4:45 and said he just wasn't feeling well. And he said there's a chance that he may not be able to coach tonight. And, we've done this drill before. And so I said, okay. And he came in, he tested. I get a call back at 5:15 saying that he's out. And so that's the time that I found out.
Like he said, there's probably like 9 questions, but I kind of want to ask about Wiggins defensively late. It seemed like he made a bunch of stops individually. What did you just think of him late?
No, Wiggs was fantastic. This game reminded me of Game 2 in Memphis. Just kind of an ugly, grinded out game. We weren't really making shots. I thought, we moved the ball well enough and we spaced the floor well enough to where we had some great looks. They just didn't go in. And so the one thing that I felt we just needed to do was just stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. And if we did, with the way that we were defending and rebounding, Wiggs had 10, Draymond had 11. One of our biggest keys in this series was we don't want to give these guys extra possessions. And so with Wiggs stepping up and doing that, it helped us. It gave us a huge advantage, and our guys stayed with it. And then we made enough shots and free throws down the stretch.
Mike, how would you describe the first half and the final minute?
So when we went in the back, Chris DeMarco, he said, Chris DeMarco, he just out of nowhere, he says, punch 42, dive 52. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, we just kept handing the ball off to the fullback, left and right. And then at the end of the game, we kicked the field goal to win it. Hell of a football game, And that's what it was. But that's playoff basketball. Sometimes it's grimy. Sometimes it's gritty. And for me, I know that, again, it shows it because they turned it into that in Game 2 in Memphis, and we lost. And so they turned it into it again tonight, especially with Ja out, and our guys just found a way. So I'm so proud of them, with our leader and Steve being out with COVID right before the game, and Draymond emotionally, he's our emotional heart and soul, and for him to get hit with something that impactful, that not only was it tough for him, but we felt it as a group. And so it was a tough night for us, but again, hey, at this point in the year, you win ball games. It doesn't matter how you get there, but you win ball games, and we found a way to win tonight. That's why I'm excited.
Mike, could you talk about your emotions today or the last 24 hours? Congratulations, by the way, on the new job, and just what it was like to have that and have a lot on your mind, and then all of a sudden get this news and go through this.
It was an interesting day for me. Obviously everybody knows what's going on, and so going through that process while still trying to get ready for the game, and then finding out not only that, I love Draymond, and when he hurts, we all hurt, and so that was tough on me personally, and then to find out Steve was out too, and it was an up and down or emotional day for me too. But again, all of our guys, Kenny Atkinson, Bruce Frazier, Chris DeMarco, Jama, Decky, all of our coaches were fantastic. And I said this before when I took over for Steve. Andre Iguodala doesn't get enough credit. I mean, Andre, I know he's not playing, but just his voice, his presence, he's always saying the right thing. It uplifts all of us. And for me, it uplifted me. I told him, I told Draymond, I said, I need you guys tonight. I need you guys tonight. I'm going to lean on you guys. And those guys stayed steady the whole game. Andre on the bench, obviously, and Draymond on the floor, and we found a way. You can do that when you have Steph Curry and Klay and JP out on the floor.
Mike, you guys did take better care of the ball in the second half.
Yeah.
Was that, how key was that? And also, did you think it was just a matter of time for some of those shots to fall, even though Klay's weren't falling as much, everybody else kind of picked it up?
No, Clay hit a big shot for us in that deep corner. It was huge, and that kind of got us going a little bit. So I felt eventually we're too good of a shooting team, and the times that we took care of the ball, we got some fantastic looks, and I take those looks with all of our guys at any time. And eventually, I thought they'd go down. I just wished that they would have started going down sooner.
Mike, I've two questions for you. One, kind of following up on the offense. After last game, you guys were really emphasizing like shot selection, and that's what helped lead you to that such a great shooting night in game 3. Did you like the shots that you were getting, and it was just a matter of them not going in?
Early on, I thought we were we were playing a little frantically, and again, I felt that we've done that before in these playoffs. We've been pretty frantic to start the ball games, and then we settled down. The one thing that I worried about was when we forced the issue turnover-wise, driving into their length and their athleticism. That was something that we didn't do a lot of in our last game. And so, when you drive that ball into the teeth of their defense, they collapse so well. They got active hands. They get out to our shooters, and they make it tough and turn us over. Once I felt we figured that part out, and then we get good looks, and we did. I thought past that first quarter into the second quarter and even the third and the fourth quarter, we got some pretty good looks because our guys just hit singles.
And you kind of alluded to my second question. As you said, you guys have gotten off to some rockier starts this series and last series. What needs to happen to not fall behind so early on?
The biggest thing is just taking care of the ball. It's defensively, it seems like our guys have been pretty locked in. Getting after their missed shots or getting after the boards has been pretty good. We've just had a few unforced turnovers that gave them confidence and kind of took away from our spirit a little bit. And then we rushed some shots. And so if we can figure that out for 48 minutes and instead of a shorter time, then I think we'll be fine.
Otto Porter Jr. has kind of, right here. Yeah. He's kind of been like a unsung hero coming off the bench. Just what have you thought about him, over the last 2 games? He was the first one to hit a 3 after the team missed the first 15, and that kind of seemed to move things along.
Yeah. Otto, his feel for the game, his intelligence is at a really high level. And, we always feel like we can plug him in as a starter. We can plug him in coming off the bench, and he's going to give us size. He's going to help us space the floor because of his ability to shoot. He's going to take care of the ball. But the biggest thing, he can guard multiple positions. And if he's guarding a bigger guy, he's great putting a body on a body and keeping his man off the glass so somebody else can get it. So the versatility that he brings to the table for us is much needed, especially at his size, because we play small a lot.
I guess Steph on TNT after the game, Mike joked that some version of they were shooting like the Kings or turning into the Kings. How much teasing did you get? And you probably don't want to answer this question because you want to talk about this team, but you're up there. Why was the Kings the right opportunity, the right moment for you? And are you going to miss some of this too?
Just to be fair to their organization, and our organization right now, I want to focus on this. And when that press conference comes, I'll answer any question that you want me to answer. But yeah, we got a lot of jokesters on the team, and I'm okay with it.
And Mike, I don't know if this is too early to ask, but is it definitive that you'll be wearing the head coaching hat for Game 5, or in theory, does Steve have enough time to clear protocols to join you guys in Memphis?
Steve, if you're watching, get healthy quick. I don't know.
Hey, Mike. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Second of all, you mentioned that some of the vets really helped out tonight, such as Andre and Draymond. I'm curious, what specifically did they say that really resonated?
Well, it may not be 1 point or 2 points that they said that turned the tide. It's just, their calmness, knowing that it's a long basketball game. There's no need to panic. Let's do what we do. Move the ball a little bit better. Come to a jump stop here. Box out there. push the ball with pace and get to the corners. You know, just little reminders like that, things that we've been talking about the whole series against this team. To have veterans like Andre and Draymond that have been through, the highs and lows of many playoff series, when they're reassuring the guys of that, it gives everybody else confidence, because we're playing guys right now that haven't been as far. So, again, their presence, their voice, their calmness, their reassurance, all that stuff equals a lot for our group, especially with Steve being out.
And you talked about how frenetic and hectic it was when you sort of found out Steve would be out. What was that like for you, just taking over the team on this game, on this stage, with so much on the line at this point? Just what were the emotions around just sort of the entire thing?
Yeah, obviously there's butterflies, because again, you're going into the game with a certain mindset, and it's a big game. Every game that we play at this point in the year, it's huge. And so, to have that kind of thrown at you, you got to switch gears, because I know what my responsibilities are going in as Mike Brown, the assistant coach, and it changes. Now you have to manage everything and not necessarily manage, the specific things that you were asked to do before game time. So I had to change hats quickly, and like I said, give Draymond, give Andre most of the credit, but our staff was phenomenal. Kenny Atkinson, Bruce Frazier, CD, Becky, everybody was great. Jamma, they all were terrific the whole game.
Two more, Marcus and then Vinny.
Mike, two questions for you. Did you have any conversation with Steph, like, we kind of need you to get going, like in between the third and the fourth quarter? And what do you think he figured out to be able to come through in the fourth?
No, the great part about Steph, he's got to be the easiest superstar to be around. I don't, I worry about him because I hate to say it, I don't know if he has a great memory, and which is fantastic. You need that in his position because he missed shots that he can make in his sleep. And so because he doesn't think about it or think about the past or dwell on it too hard, he always thinks that the next thing is going to happen in a positive manner for him, whether it's a made shot or the right pass for an assist or him cutting back door at the right time to score a bucket. He's always that confident because he thinks next play all the time. And so I didn't say anything to him because just being around him, I know that he's always thinking about how can he help the team next. How can he help the team next? And that's what it was tonight. He got free on a pin down and knocked down a big three for us late. And then obviously right place, right time in terms of the box out, gets fouled and goes to the free throw line and knocks, 6, 8, whatever it is, free throws down in a row. So he'll always be there, in my opinion.
Mike, yesterday Steve had said this is like a classic young versus old, playoff series between Memphis sort of being youthful and inexperienced and you guys being experienced. With that said, was this one of those last 5 minutes of the game you were just saying stay close and our experience will take over and their inexperience will show, because that's kind of what it looked like?
Yeah, anytime you have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole on the floor, and then, a guy that if he wasn't hurt, he would have been Defensive Player of the Year, and Draymond Green on the floor too, good things can happen. So if it's a 1 or 2 possession game down the stretch, whether you're down or you're up, you feel pretty confident. And a lot of it, yes, has to do with the playoff experience that these guys have, but their talent and their IQ is, in my opinion, second to none.